This is a 2014 Lincoln MKS. It's got all-wheel drive, and today we're going to review it.
All right, so welcome to our detailed interior review here of the driver's information center and the infotainment screen. So starting off with, so what we have here is we have two screens up here. We've got one on the left and we've got one on the right. Okay. And so the one on the right typically shows things like your RPM gauge, your fuel, and your engine temperature. And then it's customizable. The one on the right deals with just entertainment, phone, navigation, and climate. So to start with, we're going to use these four arrows and the OK button to control the left screen. And when we move over, we'll use these four arrows and this OK button to control the right screen. Very nicely set up, very easily set up. All right, so to start with, you'll notice that there are a bunch of icons on the left here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different icons. That controls what you see on the screen. However, there's also, once you push the left or right or left arrows, there's also some changes you can make within each menu item. So for instance, now I'm showing the speedometer, the fuel gauge, and the engine temp. So there are a couple different screens you can get within this first menu item, and then you get that by pushing the down or the up arrows. So right now I got RPM, fuel, and engine temp. If I go down one, I'm still on the same icon, but it tells me how many miles I have till I'm empty. If I go down again, I get the RPM gauge and a larger fuel gauge. Okay, and then it goes back to the first screen. Okay, now to go back to the menu on the left, I press the left arrow, and then I go down. Now I've got trip 1 and 2. So I'm going to either press OK or the right arrow. Either one will bring me to the screen. So I can press and hold OK to reset everything. So if I do that, you can see it kind of running on the bottom, tells you how long you need to hold it, just in case you made a mistake, you didn't want to reset it. And you notice I'm on trip 2. So if I press my down arrow, I'm on trip 1. And I can reset that same way. So if I go up, I'm on trip 2, down on trip 1. Now I'm going to go back to the left. Okay, I'm going to go down 1, fuel economy. So this time, instead of pressing OK, I'll just press the arrow because you can do either one. All right, so here it gives me a graphic view of my mileage. And the car is rated at 21 miles per gallon average. I average about 23, okay, which is really nice. Okay, and then it tells me how many miles I have till I'm empty. And I can press and hold this OK button to reset it. And if I use the down arrow, I get a different graph bar. Okay, which is, just we want to see something different. It also gives you can see this little green line to the right of the 20. That's actually where your fuel mileage is. So it actually gives you just a bar when you're stopped, and when you're driving, the whole area fills up with color. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the left, go back down to settings, press the right arrow. Now here are some where your safety systems are. So the driver assist. Okay, so I've got traction control, blind spot, drive control, collision warning, which this does have, cross traffic. Whoops. Sometimes it's a little sensitive. Ford improved this in later models when you pressed on these buttons, so they were very accurate. They actually separated the four buttons. Okay, driver alert, front park aid, lane keeping assist, rear park aid, and then you can set that the sensitivity to it, but we'll go back here. All right, so let me go back to the top. All right, the first thing you have is traction control. So if I press the OK button, I can have that on or off. I go left button to get back out of it, go down to blind spot. Press OK, on or off again. And then you simply would, if you want it off, you just toggle down, press OK. It gives you a little message. Now I, of course, want that on, so I'm going to go back and turn that on. All right, I'm going to go down one, drive control. So here I can have handling in drive or handling in sport. So I'm gonna just press OK again. I can have comfort, normal, or sport. I think I said earlier in the drive it was 2. I guess there are 3. I only use 2, sport or comfort. Okay, and there is a nominal difference between the 3 different settings. Okay, so I'm gonna go down, and that's just handling and drive. So, and then I can turn it to, so if I go to handling and sport, I can have sport or normal. They don't allow you to have comfort there. So that's kind of neat. You have 2 different drive controls that you can choose from. Collision warning, again, is going to be that you can set the sensitivity. So normal, high, or low. And what that does is there's a bunch of lights at top of the dashboard that are all red, and they will flash at you if something is too close to you, if it senses you're going too fast. Okay, so it's a warning system. It doesn't break for you, but it's nice to have that warning system. Then you can also choose to have chimes on or off, and then you can choose to have the warning on or off. The warning shows up right here in your dashboard. Also, it reflects. There's some lights that reflect off the screen. All right, so let's go back. Okay, let's go down. Oops. Cross traffic, on or off. Cruise control. You can have adaptive or normal. I will leave it as adaptive. Okay. Driver alert, on or off. Now what this does is if it senses you're weaving on the road, or if your hands leave the steering wheel for too long, it will then give you a visual warning and an audible warning to put your hands back on the wheel. It'll suggest you stop and take a coffee break or something. Gives you a little picture of someone having coffee. Okay, front park aid, on or off. Those are the parking sensors. Lane keeping system. You can set the mode. So alert, okay, aid actually moves the steering wheel for you, or you can have both. I like having both on, so I leave it there. You can adjust the sensitivity. Okay, and the sensitivity is normal or increased, and that will change how much it will affect your steering wheel being moved. Okay, I don't like it moving all the time, so I leave it where it's at. Okay, intensity, high, normal, or low. And we'll go back to, we'll go down to the rear park aid. That's on or off. Use the back arrow, and that's the end of the driver assist. So now I'm going to use the left arrow to go back. That was just driver assist. So now let's go down to vehicle. We'll press OK. Okay, now we'll scroll to the top of this line here. Good, there we go. Auto high beam, on or off. Auto lamp delay. And then you can set it from 10 seconds all the way to 180 seconds, which I like. I haven't seen too many cars that stretch it out that far. But if you're at a cabin or something, you gotta walk a distance to your door from your car's parked, that's always really nice. Use the left arrow to go back. This car does have easy entry and exit. So when I stop the car and open the door, my seat slides backwards, the steering wheel goes up and forward away from me, which is really nice. And as soon as you get in and start the car, it recognizes the key fob, or you can press one of the memory settings on the door and everything readjusts. So you can have that on or off. Then you have a distance to empty calculation. If you happen to tow, which I don't know why you would with this car, but maybe a small trailer you would. It does tow 1,000 pounds. This car is not equipped to do that, but you can change your distance to empty calculation based on if you're just normal driving or if you're actually towing something. All right, we keep going down. Locks, okay? You can, let's go up here to auto lock. You can have that on or off. So right now I have it set so once the car hits 5 miles per hour, it automatically locks all the door. Okay. You can go to auto unlock, on or off. What happens there is when I hit it in park, I have to open the driver's door. And when I open the driver's door, all the doors unlock. And you can have that turned on or off. Okay. Remote unlocking. All doors or just the driver's door. And this from the key fob. So you can set it to open just the driver's door if you want, or all doors. We'll go back one more time. Okay, this keeps track of your oil life. So this is where you can set it, okay? It has different percentages depending on what you think it is when you reset it. I always just reset it at when the oil gets changed, oil and filter. Okay, remote start. This car does have remote start. Okay, so there's a lot of cool things you can do in here. Climate control. The heater or the air conditioner is set to auto, so it bases it on the ambient temperature, and then will automatically turn air conditioner or heating on. Okay, we'll go backwards. Heated wheel. Okay, auto heated or off. This is really nice in cold weather climates. So we had all these things turned on. Front defrost, auto. If it senses too cold, it'll turn on the front defroster. Okay, rear defrost. Okay, again set to auto. We'll go down again. Driver's seat. Driver's seat temperature set to auto. Same with the passenger seat, turn to auto. I mean, there's a lot of controls on here for your remote start. I absolutely love it. We leave them all on, and by the time we get in the car, it's much warmer than if we had started it. The seats are heated, the steering wheel's heated up. It makes for a much more comfortable commute, at least when you first start out. Okay, you can affect the duration of your remote start. You can have to go for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. You can have what's called a quiet start. Okay, and a quiet start basically it's kind of like the auto start stop on newer cars, but basically it'll run the engine when it needs to and won't when it doesn't need to. So it saves a little fuel. Okay, and then for the remote start system, you can enable or disable the whole function, so you won't be able to remote start your car. Okay, so quite a lot of things there. Now we're going to go backwards left again. We're going to go down to Windows. Okay, these can remote open by the key fob. You can have that on or off. I like having that on, and you could also remote close them with the key fob. So I told you this car had a lot of stuff on it. It does. Okay, and we got, I think, one more item down here, wipers. This has automatic rain sensing wipers, so they can be on or off. And then, of course, you can say, if you want a courtesy wipe every time you turn your headlights on, it does a courtesy wipe. I don't do that because it's not always raining when I turn my lights on, so I don't want to drag in against a dry windshield. But, all right, let's go back again to the left. Okay, and we're still under vehicle here, so we're going to go back one more to the left. Now we'll go down to the display. Turn that on. Gauge display. We'll go in there. You can have fuel and tack, or just the fuel gauge. Okay? So I like having the fuel and tack show up together, so I leave that set on there. But that's kind of interesting. You can change that. Then, of course, you come down to language. You can change the language to English, Spanish, or French. And then you can change the units. Okay, for temperature. Okay, you can have Fahrenheit or Celsius, and then of course you can go up to distance and have kilometers and gallons, or kilometers and liters for your, or liters and kilometers for your different settings on the vehicle, like your distance to empty and that kind of stuff. All right. So now we'll go down to the last one in this list, and that's information. We'll click on the OK button. Driver alert system. Okay, it's not available right now because we're not driving, but it would show you that little coffee cup emblem or a steering wheel if your hands weren't on the steering wheel, or if it's sensed that maybe because you're weaving too much that you need to pull over and have a coffee break. Okay, you can also do a system check. If you press on that, it'll go through here. You got oil life, windshield fluid okay, doors okay, trunk's okay, blind spots okay. It goes through and it even checks your brakes. I mean, it's just really neat. Okay, and these warnings, of course, will flash up on your on the screen if there are any warnings. You don't have to go into it to see them. All right, and so that's just the left screen. Now, the screen on the right is a little bit simpler. We use these 4 arrows and the OK button just like we did over here. All right, so I'm gonna go over here. We'll start with entertainment. Okay, so right now we've got something playing on here, and if I click down or up on the arrows, I get different Sirius presets. So I can just go through, and any one of these that I just click on it. Whoops, I went too far. Okay, I can go here, just click the OK button, and it goes to that one. Okay, now if I keep clicking the up button, it just jumps down to the bottom of the list. If I go to the left button, I can have Series 1, Series 2, and Series 3, so I can pick whichever one that I want. Okay, now let's go back. Okay, now let's go down to phone. Okay, so I did connect my phone quickly. So you have quick dial, all calls, incoming calls, outgoing calls, and missed calls. And text messages will show up in here as well. Okay, we'll go back. We'll go down to navigation. Now, navigation, if it's running, will give you turn-by-turn directions in this screen. When it's not running, it gives you a compass. And if you're running navigation and you don't want the turn-by-turn, you can have this compass on instead. Okay? And then we'll go down to, this was, sorry, I'll go back one more. This is climate, okay? And if I press OK, I can adjust the overall temperature, or if it's set in dual mode, it adjusts the driver's temperature. Then if I push the button to the right, I can do fan speed. And then down below, you've got the outdoor temperature, your direction you're headed, and another clock. And down here are dummy lights. If things need to be serviced, that's where pretty much where they show up, right in there. And of course, that's just the auto lights setting right there. And then of course, and then in the middle, of course, you've got the park, reverse, neutral, drive, and sport. Okay, and then you have got your speedometer. Okay? I actually really like the setup, and I know Ford's used it on a number of its models. But I really like it. There, as you can see going through here, there's a ton of things that you can do in here. And I love all of them, because that's me. All right, and then let's move over and take a look at the infotainment screen. All right, so over here on the infotainment screen, the way it's set up is there are 4 quadrants. So you've got phone, navigation, climate, and media. You also have 4 buttons on the screen that do the same thing. So you can either click on the square or the screen. So we'll start with the climate screen. So the nice thing about this is sometimes in a car, when you get these icons, you press on it and it takes you to a different screen. Well, in this car, the buttons work right where they are. So without changing any screen, I can go ahead and turn on my heated seat. I can click on my cooled seat and do the same thing. And the heated steering wheel. And then, of course, the same for the passenger side. So you don't have to go to a separate screen. And then it gives you what temperatures are on each side of the car. Okay, over here on entertainment, if you click on here, you've got Sirius XM satellite, and of course, as standard, I think in most anywhere, you got 3 different setups for Sirius. You got your AM, you got your FM, you got your CD, you got your USB input if you want, and that's again through those USB ports down underneath the center armrest. And then your SD card, your phone. Okay, so I can click on here and I can go to my phone, and then it'll show up.
For your safety, please stay alert to changing road conditions and use Sync's voice activated features while your vehicle is in motion.
Boy, they've improved automated voices, but you can go ahead and go right to your phone from there. Okay, so on the let me go back up here a minute. Let me just go to the FM radio. Okay, so you got a couple of physical buttons. Down here you got a direct tune button, so I can directly tune things. Or I can hit seek. Okay. I've got volume, which I can just slide up. That took a little bit getting used to, but it works quite well. Okay. And then of course you have presets. And like in any car, if you want a preset, you just, I don't want to do it because it's my wife's presets, but you can just click and hold and it will change to that number. Okay, you can also turn on the HD radio if you want that. You can turn on scanning, and then under options here, oops, not there, but down here, Okay, you can set the seek and scan for certain program types. You can have RDS text display on or off. You can have auto presets. You can put a tag button on. Tag just means this in the original sync system. If you thought you wanted to buy a song later, it would mark the song, and then you could re-bring it up and see what you tagged during the day. Okay, so under sound settings, here's where you can do your bass and your mid-range and your treble. I happen to leave it exactly where it is. I really like that right there. Okay, you've also got a balance and fade option down here, and then you can move it with these, or you can just grab it and slide it around. Okay, and if I go back over here, you've got a couple of other options. Okay, before I get to those, you can see down here I've got a little bit of area that I can scroll down yet, so I'm gonna go down a little bit more. This does have your DSP can be either stereo or surround. I happen to like surround sound, so I use that. And then it has speed compensated volume, and you can determine how effective it is, how fast and quickly it turns the music up or down for you depending on your speed. Okay, over here you got clock. Okay, so not only that, but you can do your outdoor temperature on or off. This is where you set your time. Okay, you got your clock format. You can reset clock to GPS time if you want. Then if I go down here a little bit, there we go. Then you can turn the auto time zone update, which really should be on. So we'll leave that on. All right. Now, under display, over here, you've got auto dimming. So that's for this screen only. And then I leave it on auto, but you can select day, night, or off. And then you can offset the auto dim by saying, well, I'd like it to be a little bit darker or a little bit brighter when it does the auto dimming. And then you saw that I had a picture of my car on here. This is where you can do that. You can hit edit wallpaper, and then you can do different pictures in here. Let's go down to vehicle. Ambient lighting. So this vehicle has a lot of ambient lighting on the inside, and then these are all the different colors you can choose from, and all you do is tap one and it rotates around. You can also affect the brightness or the dimness of it. Let me grab this again, and then you can slide it. Okay, I happen to like the blue one, but it lights up underneath the seats, the footwells, where your handles are for your door openers. It's just, it's really nice, and it does it in the back as well. Okay, I'll go back here. All right, under this, you can also get a vehicle health report, which is typical on Lincoln and Ford vehicles. So you do that through your phone. This is where you set your door keypad code. You have your camera settings here for your backup camera, and basically you can have enhanced parking aids here where you see these lines, or you can have the rear camera delay. And I like both those. The rear camera delay is simply you put a car after reversing, you put the car in drive, and up until about 5 miles an hour, the rear camera stays on, and then it shuts off automatically. Okay. You do have a valet mode, and if you do that, then it will limit your valet's ability to do certain things. Okay, and of course I don't want to continue there, but that's how you would do that. Now, the other thing you can go down here is under settings, and under settings there's a whole ton of things. This car does have a built-in Wi-Fi hotspot, which you can run through your phone if you want. You can take a look at phone, you can set things for navigation, you can look at the media player, voice control, or system. We're not going to look at all of these, but let's take a look at a couple of them. So under system, okay, again, you got some things you saw in the driver's information center, all built in right here, kind of on a little bit of an easier screen where you see more of things. We'll see if we can get this to, and then you got, you can change your touch panel button beep, you can do your keyboard layout, you can install some applications or do a master reset. Okay, and then we'll take a look under navigation, because this is where you can do some things like set your map preferences, your route preferences, your navigation preferences, traffic preferences, and areas to avoid. So if I just click on one of them here, we'll show you. Okay, cool feature, breadcrumbs. So this is kind of like the Hansel and Gretel story. So what it'll do is on your navigation map, it'll leave little dots and trails as to where you've been. So if you want to find your way back without using navigation, or your navigation isn't going to have a very good signal or something, you can use that. Okay. Parking notification on or off. Okay, and then I'll set. Let's see. We'll do route preferences here. Okay, do you want the shortest, fastest, or most ecological? You always use the preferred route. You know, equal time penalty, low, medium, high. Avoid freeways. Avoid toll roads. Use HOV lanes. And so just, I mean, there's so many settings in here. And then underneath here, you've got help. It's the last one in this particular list. So you can put on driving restrictions, 911 assist. You can do that way if you have an accident, it automatically dials 911 for you. And then of course you have a voice command list that you can look at, like what can I say. Here's a phone. And this is a pretty basic layout. You got your phone, quick dial, phone book, history, messaging, and settings. And then your dial pad up here. And then once you make on a call, you got privacy, hold, mute, or join calls, dial, and end. And then if you have a picture on your phone of the person who's calling, that shows up right there. Okay, so, and then we'll take a look at navigation. Being an older system, it popped up pretty quickly there. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to show up. Okay, and if I go to view button right here, I can have my map over here, and then points of interest show up over here, like what's the next exit coming up, and it just keeps listing things. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to this view, and then you can change the orientation of your map. Okay, and then under climate control here, you have all of your basic controls. So redundant from what's down here, and a few additional ones like your heated seats and your steering wheel controls, and your heated steering wheel, your heated and cooled seats, and your steering wheel. Ford has a thing called, or Lincoln and Ford both have a thing called My Temp. And so you can preset that to, so like if like in the last couple of days we've had some really cold times, and then later in the afternoon it's really warm. So my temp is just you select whatever that is, and as soon as you touch that button, the whole car jumps to that temperature. All right, so let me go back to the home screen for a minute. And at the beginning I mentioned there's these 4 screens, but you notice as I click on them that except for the screen that we're in, the other 4 buttons still stay on the screen, so you can always just click on something and get to it. Now, this was the home button that we used when we were on this screen. You do have this settings, and we've already been in this, but this is where all this stuff was on the left that we went through. That's a shortcut to it. And then if you press on the I for information, I don't actually use this, but you can. If you're ever lost, you can click Where Am I, and it'll show you on the navigation map where you are. You can subscribe to a travel link and some other services and use those if you want to. Those are still valid and available. I just don't happen to use them. You know, so overall, the touchscreen is very nice. The sync system works great. Again, doesn't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but it does have a really good Bluetooth setup. We've paired 2 phones to it, and that works fine. It's automatically set to my wife's phone, so when she hops in the car and I hop in the car, it just automatically connects to her phone instead of mine. And then if I want to, I can change that. It also has a Do Not Disturb button right on the screen. So if I don't want calls coming through the car system, they'll still come to my phone. I'll hear my phone ding, but it won't come through the car. All right. And so other than that, again, you know, it is the THX certified premium sound system. That package comes with 16 speakers and a 600-watt stereo system. So very enjoyable to listen to on rides. All right, and that's it for the infotainment screen. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it.